Hello and welcome, each and every one of you. With you today is me, Daiga, multilinguistic international coach therapist from DCTcentre, and also I'm true speaker, healer, energy worker, guide, mentor, co-creator, and galactic ambassador from Pleiadians. And with me today is lovely, wonderful, beautiful, gorgeous woman, Rebecca Joelle. And she is oracle healer, medium, spiritual mentor to awakened women ready for quantum transformation. She helps women to unlock their highest potential, collapse timelines, and manifest rapid, sustainable evolution in business, love, and life. Rebecca is also known as a true catalyst on TikTok and YouTube, where she reveals hidden truths with her unique abilities. Hello, Rebecca.
Hi, thank you for
Uh,
having me.
Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming. I really appreciated you. Uh, Happy to come on my show because I find you about hmm, maybe 3 4 months ago.
Mhm.
At that time when you put out information about Kate, and as I obviously really much thinking about her and what's going on and so on. So that was very interesting for me and everything what you say there, yeah, really, um, really sort of, really sort of give me like, yes, that's true. In me, I every information like in 2020, I was following nearly every single true speaker, and I was like, yes, 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 okay, what he's saying, that's true. But now I have my own guidance, and I do not follow nearly anyone anymore. I have now my gurus. I'm not putting anyone on a pedestal. I'm letting through me, yeah. But okay, that's about me and how I find you. I really want to know how you find your gifts because you have incredible gifts, which one you can use helping people, and you're doing this so much, yeah. Can you tell me how you find it? How was your life before it, and how you find this gift?
Well, I didn't know how you found me, so thank you for sharing that. And I think that it does um, take connecting with your own internal connection to the divine, right? To know what is truth, what resonates. And a lot of people are waking up to that truth. How I came to be with my gifts, I, like most people, like most women, felt blocked to my intuition. I had gifts as a child. I had prophetic dreams, and yeah, I just had a knowing when I was a child, but my gifts got blocked, as it often happens with women when they're around the wrong people who, they have people pleasing tendencies, or they have a need for external validation. So they have an internal feeling, an internal nudge, but the people around them are unhealthy, toxic, dysfunctional, if you will, whatever word you want to use. And so they end up trusting the people around them, and self-doubting and self-betraying and self-abandoning themselves. So that was my journey for years in unhealthy relationships. And after I went through, I left my divorce abruptly because I was abused in many ways. I was on a search to find out who I really am, and to come back home to myself, which I know a lot of women experience when they go through a divorce or a traumatic relationship, that they're like, what happened to me? And they go on a journey to find themselves. So I was in a hunt to find my purpose, and I came across a naturopathic doctor, actually, and I'm trained in a lot of the same tools that he uses now, in terms of like what was keeping me away from my intuition. Like, why did I feel this disconnect? And a lot of it was metaphysical, it was energetic. And luckily, I was referred by friends because otherwise I would have thought he was bonkers, because I think the first meeting I had with him, he told me I had a spell or a curse on me, that someone had sent me bad energy. And that was just, there's just layers and layers. And I see this with people, how they're blocked to their intuition. It's often energetic, because we're energetic beings and we're always exchanging energy with each other, regardless of the distance, right? And so I'm still educating people about this in client sessions. But at the time I was like, oh my God, I just wasted so much money to see this doctor. He just told me I have a curse on me. Like, what, where the heck am I? But over time, and then I learned human design, and that was helpful for me to get into my body. And as a generator, I learned that like, I've got to tune into my gut, which my sacral, and for a lot of women who've turned off their intuition, their sacral feels numb. So not only are they disconnected from their intuition, but they're not having that very good sex either, because they're disconnected at that center. So that was part of my journey. And I got trained in theta healing, actually, and that was groundbreaking for me, to be able to connect with source. And we can do it so easily. I was trained in it, but really I was just remembering, like so many of us are. And I was able to see inside someone's body. I was able to hear their thoughts. I was able to communicate with source, creator, God, whatever people word they want to use. I was able to do it so effortlessly. The class was amazing. And I just kind of took off from there. And then I just had this nudge. It's just interesting. My son was 5 years old at the time, and he has a personal connection with the dragon. And I don't have that kind of connection, but at 5 years old, he could tune in, ask a question, and then get the answer, and that's how he would do it. And I asked him, when I was just learning how to use these modalities, and I'm, building a business essentially during the pandemic, and so many people were reaching out for help. And I said, well, what's mom going to do for her career, for money, for like, her path? And he's 5 years old. So I was really testing his connection with his dragon. And he told me, he tuned in really, really quick, and then looked at me and he said, prophecy work. And I just had chills and my jaw was down to the ground. And he was like, Mom, what does prophecy mean? He's 5 years old. So I started doing readings for people all over the world, just knowing their first name and their question. I don't want to see pictures, birth dates, anything else. I don't want to compare notes, see their profile or whatever. I just would hear their name, or, know their name and their question. And then I would talk with God, source, creator, and then it would come through very clearly. And so I just practiced that over time. And I'm able to, and I've been doing this for myself and for clients for years. But this year, the eclipse in Aries fell on my birthday. And if anyone's familiar with astrology, in my 10th house of career and professional or public visibility. So I knew something big was coming. It was also conjunct my North Node, which is destiny. So it was that day that I shared the video on Kate Middleton, the first one. And I had done several channelings. I don't even like that word. I receive from source, creator, God. I just hear it and I write it down. But I hear it, I see, I feel, I have all the clairs, and they all kind of blend together. But I've been using these skills for clients behind the scenes. So they're the only ones that have been able to see and witness and be on the receiving end of my gifts. But my higher self had told me for months, world stage. And I didn't understand what that meant. I didn't know what was coming. I have no interest in the royal family. I don't know anything about them, but I saw someone had said something about them. And I said, well, anyone can connect with source. Anyone can receive this information, right? So I received and wrote down and spent days writing notes about it. And it was shocking to me, traumatizing for me, even because I became aware of certain truths, not just about her, but human trafficking and adrenochrome and like torture and like all these, and I knew that was truth because I was receiving it from source. And it's been shocking for me, these revelations, as it has been for people who I've been sharing it with. And some people have already awakened to these truths, but for me, it's been quite shocking, to learn about that in our White House in this country. And so basically I just applied the skills that I've had for years, but to public figures or to hidden truths, because it became very clear to me that, the media is controlled. It's a certain, lens, perspective that's portrayed to keep us in the dark, to keep a veil over us. So we don't know really what's going on. And anyone who's saying otherwise, like the things that I'm sharing, might appear crazy, But I'm firm in my truth because I connect from source, and I do readings for people all over the world still to this day. And they're all spot on. So why wouldn't it be spot on for the things that I'm receiving for other people? And I just have this unique ability. I can get into people's heads and know what they're thinking. I can see the image, remote view, if you will. So it's really taken practice and also trusting. So if anyone's out there listening and they want to develop their intuition, it's trust, right? So in the beginning, you might want to write down, keep a journal of like your intuitive nudges and things like that. But it's trust, because I hear from source and I don't have a clue. When I'm doing a reading for someone, it's often it's in the language and the tone that that person needs to receive it. Like I do readings that are so beautiful and flowery, and then I ask the person I'm reading for, I'm like, are you a creative writer or something? Like, this is very poetic. It's never my language, right? It's always for the person that I'm sharing it for. And so that's been interesting. So I just write it down without judgment. I'm a very clear vessel. I'm trained in like clearing these dark energies so that I'm not channeling demons or Arcturians or whatever, who pretend to be Arcturians but are false lights. You know, there's just a lot of confusion out there. So I have the tools to know, like, you know, I just connect with source and it's easy and it comes through and I don't judge it. I don't attach to it. Like I recently shared information on Biden and Trump, and I'm apolitical. I'm team humanity, you know, like I have no side there. And that also helps me receive those messages because I'm not clinging to any of those truths. You know, I'm just like sharing what comes through from source. So yeah, that's my story.
It's absolutely great story, but you said connecting with source is so easy and everyone can do it. Yeah?
Yeah.
How?
I got this question a lot, and so I created a class. It's on my website. I did it live, and I had a 40-minute or so Q&A with the live participants, and now it's on my website. So people can learn for themselves the exact method that I use to connect with source. I basically shared a couple of meditations in there where, you know, it's important to ground and how I connect. And you can ask source, creator, God, anything. But oftentimes it's like, I've done a lot of healing to get to this point too, right? So I trust my intuition. I've cleared my God wound, which a lot of people have a God wound. They're afraid of God. You know, maybe they were raised Catholic or super religious, and they're afraid of being punished, and they're afraid they're going to channel demons. And all of that conditioning is to keep us from that divine connection so that we seek answers from the news and we seek answers from politicians and people in power. Like the system is designed that way. So trust, surrender, faith, you know, like this is a very simple protocol that I use and I share it on my website so that people can follow through and just practice. You know, if you're clinging to, like, if you're asking God for some answer that you really have an attachment to, you know, then you may not be able to receive. Like for me, for years, I could do readings for anyone all over the world, spot on, but I couldn't do them for myself because I'm too attached, right, to the outcome, too attached to the answer. And now that's not the case. Like I can do readings for anyone, literally anyone. I just don't have enough bandwidth to answer all the hidden truths, you know, but I could literally answer any questions about anything. The only thing I'm not able to do is like random names to drop in, you know, like, you know, the dark forces that are behind, you know, the politics and the powers that be, like random names won't drop into my mind, or like technical terms that like aren't already available in my conscious or subconscious. But I'll have like a few words, my, you know, source will work around with the words that I have to convey the message. And then, you know, maybe a physics guy can chime in and tell me like what that term is that I'm trying to describe. You know what I mean? So I will only be able to like receive information using the vocabulary that I already have.
Yeah, I myself learning automatic writing, and I'm connecting with not with source but with Galactic Federation. Yeah, but again, all at the moment, I think I still too much attached to information, especially about myself.
There's self-doubt there. There's self-doubt. Yeah.
It is self-doubt. It is, I need to go to my mentor to actually clarify like once a month. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Did I get right messages? Can you clarify, please? Yeah. And
Yeah.
99.9% messages is right. And she really say, yes, that's exactly what it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I somehow do not 100% trust myself.
I think that just takes time and practice.
At the moment, all I really want to something like in my shows. My show didn't come up randomly. If you tell me 3 years ago that I will be having YouTube videos putting out, I will tell you that you are crazy.
Right.
Yeah? And that's definitely not going to happen because I was like you. I was totally in building my practice as a counselor, psychotherapist, life coach, yeah, spiritual coach. That's it. That was me building my practice, yeah. And now it was nudge which one I couldn't stop.
Yeah.
Wasn't possible to stop. I
Yeah.
had to do it.
Yeah, when situations like that, it feels like and it looks like the hand of God behind me, pushing me into this edge, that I'm uncomfortable. But I think a lot of spiritual workers and light workers are being called to speak to a wider audience now. I mean, we have the technology, unfortunately, there is censorship and silencing going on, but there are, and I'm realizing that with TikTok, they've pulled some of my videos and they're drastically reducing my reach where I would have a minimum of 10,000 views, and now it's like 100 on my videos. Like I have almost 20,000 followers. So I'm going to leave TikTok. That's part of my authentic truth, right? Is like not being on a platform that isn't aligned with my values. So I think spiritual workers are really being called to like clear those witch wounds and be in the zone of being uncomfortable and on our edge and sharing with a wider audience and not just staying in our bubble, in our comfort zone with our clients on the phone,
Yeah, I think so. Why you actually talking and sharing everything for women? You are mentoring women. Why only women? Why not men as well included?
I think that's just been over time, and my business and my purpose is always shifting and evolving, like with everyone else, And I do actually have women send their partners to me, so they do sessions here and there, and I've worked with both. But given my journey, I feel like we're always helping people who are a few steps behind us, if you will, so women who have felt blocked to their intuition, women who've gone through toxic, dysfunctional relationships, women who are stepping into their power, and need help stepping into their next level. So like all those things that I have burned through, with fire blazing behind me, these women are ready for that too. And so that's just where I feel called to serve at this time, for women who are ready to rise and women who want to make a difference in the world and want to clear anything in the path that's getting in the way of that.
Great. I want to come back a little bit. I don't know why, but in my head now, go back to another question. I want to ask you how you managed to get in somebody's head.
We're all one. We're all one. Like, and when Galactic Federation, Source, guides, you, me, like we're all one. Like people want to know like the name of their guides or whatever. And I just see it as all one, and we're all connected. And I can just connect with Source and this has come as a benefit to a lot of moms have reached out, like they have a nonverbal child, because of medical issues, or they're separated from their adult child and they want to know like what's going on, how can they help, how can they mend that rift, like it's helped in so many amazing ways. And I can hear what's going on in that person's head. I don't know, I can just do it, but I just connect with Source and just ask like, what's this person thinking? What's this person feeling? You know, and I just shared yesterday on the attempted assassination of Donald Trump and the person that shot him and went inside his head, because I want to know the truth, because they're painting him, he's a fall man. He's a fall man. Like, this is what I got clearly from source. But we're shown a different picture, you know, so that's how I'm able to really like see even women who come, or people who come to me wanting to know like about their ex, you know, like how does that person feel about me? How does that person think about me, or whatever? So I don't know, I just connect with source like I do everything else.
Just from connection with source, you can do everything else then.
Yeah, and I just trust it. And it doesn't make any sense to me. My readings never make sense to me because the readings aren't for me, but I just write it down and they're always spot on. I handwrite everything. So I have like piles of notebooks. I need to switch to a digital notebook. But I do, like, I used to do readings and I would just like hear and then I would share on the phone, but I can just get so much more information if I write it down, because I don't even know what I'm receiving. I don't judge it. I don't read it until I read it to the client on the call, because there's just, I don't want to look back and say, oh, that doesn't make sense what I just wrote, you know, like that blocks it. I just write it down and I trust it. I'm just this clear vessel in that way.
I now trying to be, and according to Galactic Federation, they say I'm getting better and better on this. But I learn actually from beginning, because I'm doing so many courses and with clients I'm doing things on the computer. I much more prefer typing instead of writing.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm doing, I'm actually typing in computer without looking at what I'm typing. Yeah, concentrating on the keyboard.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's it. I don't know what is going on the page. I'm concentrating on keyboard, and then afterwards I'm reading through this information. Yeah.
Yeah, there's no limit. There's no limit. And I don't ever want to restrict people. Oh, you have to handwrite it. Oh, you have to do this. Like, to each their own, you know, and I want everyone to have their own connection. And I think that's one of my main missions, is to help people connect back to their divinity, because then the powers that be aren't powerful anymore. You know, like, we won't be looking to them because we have our own internal connection and we remember it and it guides us. And we're like, wait a second, no, this isn't right. This is right, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Because we are programmed from moment we are born.
Yes.
Yeah, even we calling television, television.
Right.
Yeah. Why we have television channels? Again, you just go and switch on different vision.
Right.
Yeah, it's all vision, and if we know already that we live in a matrix,
yeah, true.
It's really is amazing when you starting to recognize and when you see through the veil. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's an amazing journey. It's a bumpy one, you know, it can be tumultuous. And especially when, like, most people around you, you're like, want to just shake them up, you know, like, why don't you see what's going on? But that's not our job, right? That's not our role. But it is just like so strange the last several months waking up to these realities. And at the same time, I'm like going to the grocery store and like people aren't aware. It's very bizarre.
And some people walking around with this one on.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
And queuing for getting this one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't wait when will be next phone call from GP. Yeah, to get next one.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Right.
Oh yeah, we are in very different like level. We sort of in a world where is one word what we understand.
Yeah.
But which is absolutely not possible to understand. Like my family, is no way I say something about that to my family. They will be absolutely sure,
Yeah.
like mental institution is waiting for me.
Well, even people who call themselves, I have, friends on my Facebook friends, some of them call themselves psychics or whatever, and they're really tapped in, and they bought the whole cancer charade. And I'm just like, I don't think you're very psychic. I think you're buying into the narrative here. And I've said some wild things, so now it's been a very empowering journey for me, because it's like, well, I don't care what you all say. Like, this is the truth here, and I'm going to share it. So yeah, wild times, and especially with the AI nanobots with the COVID injections.
Yeah, let's leave this one, these words. Let's leave out of our conversation.
Yeah.
Yes, but people really bought into it.
It's
Yeah,
a mind control. I mean, it's just another level of, there's different layers of mind control.
but I really, when I now looking at, I'm not watching news for so many years now.
Yeah.
But then I still like some of those serials, yeah. And when you're going to watch some serial, there always is some kind of news or something comes up, yeah. Even music, what they putting on the back of these informations, yeah.
Yeah.
Even that is programming. Leave
Yes.
alone anything
Yeah.
else.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I don't pay attention to the news either, but occasionally I'll check it. But now my abilities are such that, like, I'll read an article. I shared this in one of my videos, but there was an employee of a big company. I won't name the company. That was found dead. He was a whistleblower. But I'm reading the article, and I see in my third eye the scene of how he actually died, which is not what the news is saying. And I'll hear, or I'll see, like, I'll see a celebrity like on the news, or like a picture and I'm like, I want to look up a celebrity to see what other movies they're in, and all of a sudden I see their past. When I just look at their picture, like, so much unfolds, when I see what they've been through, So nothing's hidden at this point as people wake up more and more, but we're still in that bumpy part of the journey.
Yes, because people don't believe what they see. They from start I remember when I woke up, like really woke up. It was like, do you know? Do you know what's happening? I wanted to tell everyone who wants to listen. I was ready to tell this, yeah. But when I first came to my family, it was like, what you talking about? Where you get this bullshit BS, yeah? How come you say something like that, yeah?
Well, we're often the black sheep, the spiritual, healers and light workers are often the black sheep. That's just how we come into the world. That seems to be a pattern where we're brought into families that we need to break away from, or, physically, or, our values or whatever. So it's part of that path for some reason.
You needed to get divorced to get your freedom, yeah? I actually needed to leave my country.
Ah.
To get out of control, I would say, because I was too weak, yeah, to stand up against everybody who don't believe anything what I believe in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was. I don't know how old I was. I was like maybe 7, 8, yeah. And at that time, I was in one of the first classes, And at that time was a lot going on about America will be coming on us, because I'm from Soviet Union, used to be Soviet Union. I'm from Latvia. Yeah, and America is coming to us, and there will be war and so on. And I nicely stood on the middle of room, and I said, if you think that this uh, like virus or something what is going on now, this flu or something is something else, but just it's war. It's already going on. And I, like kid, just stood there and say this, yeah. When
Mm-hmm.
everybody is prepared for something from America or something, yeah. I was in a room already telling my parents that that's going on.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's happening. It's not, no, how come every single winter something else coming up? No, that doesn't make even sense. For kid, it doesn't make sense. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And how all world is just, yes, of course it is.
Right. Right.
Yeah. You as well straight away find out on 2020 that it's not what it is, or it
Yeah.
take you some time.
I knew. Yeah, I knew then. Yeah, I had my connection to source then, thankfully. But it was quite isolating time.
But how was about you? I was at that time isolating, yes, but I moved forwards in my trainings quite a lot at that time, because I was concentrating, literally finding out more and more information and getting in more and more rabbit holes.
Yeah, I was training a lot in my modalities in 2020 and practicing, and people were coming to me from all over the world for readings and for healings. And there was a lot of because of the COVID, there was a influx of entities, and so when someone had COVID, I
Let,
noticed.
let's not tell anything anymore.
Okay,
This word, obviously, this word only.
the what?
CO, COD. Let's not say this.
Oh, okay, so you mentioned 2020, but yeah, there's a lot of entity influx during 2020. So I wasn't diving deep into rabbit holes then. I was getting very experienced in my modalities and practicing and helping people all over the world deal with the anxiety and the depression and the stress, the work and money, and all the things that people were going through, and I could help people from wherever in the world. So that's what my focus was.
I think that's brilliant that we have internet to actually help people from different countries. You don't have to be by my side, yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Even now, well, look, you are in America, I'm in England.
Right.
Yeah, and we can nicely have conversation and chat and
Yeah.
without any problems.
I'm still blown away because I firmly believe that like I can work on people all over the world, and I've never like I don't have a office where people visit me in person. Like I work on people all over the world. So when I see someone and I can see and feel that their like right shoulder is hurting, they're like, "How did you know that?" It's just it still blows my mind. That I can work on someone from on the other side of the world, and it can change their health, their mindset, in so many beautiful ways when I'm not even touching them. So I still am blown away by that.
You still not used to all those abilities what you have. Not like, oh, I have them for ages. That's nothing special.
Oh no, I
I'm not.
still I still think they're special. I still just think it's beautiful that like two different people can come to me with like money problems, for example. Maybe they're not making a lot of money in their business, but like I will hear from source, like, okay, this person's got 4 beliefs in this particular area. And then I'll hear the subconscious beliefs. And sometimes they're 3 or 4 sentences long. And then I'll hear the replacement belief. And they're just so specific for that person. And lately I've also been like channeling or receiving from source. I'll just ask God, source, give me 3 or 4 sentences to help this person on a practical level, like every day, for them to like move into that frequency of like having more money, for example. They don't match that frequency yet, but if they keep saying it and they embody it, then they can, and that'll help with the belief work. But people can come to me for the same issue, but source will share with me that the beliefs for that person, it's no cookie cutter system here. It's very unique to the person. It could have been beliefs that they picked up from childhood, from past lives, parallel lives, from their parents or whatever. They could have like a physical malady, like an illness or something, and it has nothing, like for someone came to me with a hip issue, it has nothing to do with their hips, like it has to do with these other things, but it's so specific from source, and then we change those beliefs and then their hip doesn't hurt anymore. Like it's like the hip is just a physical symptom, right? That. So it's like
I think we all and obviously our lovely medicine is all about just trying to touch symptoms.
Yeah.
It's like putting
cut them out of our bodies.
putting makeup on the face, which is full of wounds.
Yeah, and it's paralleling this condition in our world where we suppress our emotions. We run away from our emotions. We don't want to touch it. It's like a hot pan, and the medical industry is just like that. It's not really getting to the core of anything. So, and I don't pay, someone can come to me and give me a medical term for what this thing is called, but I'll just ask source. Like the medical term doesn't mean anything because it's really something that's much deeper than that. That's just like the symptom for them to like pay attention to. It's a lesson, it's a message from our bodies.
Exactly. And you are so blessed that you actually managed to help people exactly about that. Yeah.
Yeah, I love
when medicine can't help, you can speak to source and you will find how to heal this person, and that's absolutely amazing.
Yeah,
what you can do.
Yeah, and considering that I was blocked to my intuition, so I'm not anyone special. I don't want anyone putting me on a pedestal. We all have these abilities. And I'm thankful that I had this journey where I did feel blocked to my intuition. And now I just see like how blessed and gifted I am, but I worked at this, I healed the layers that got in the way of that. And I feel like anyone can, if they ever feel an inclination, like I want to be able to do this, that's their soul leading them.
Exactly. And actually Galactic Federation lead me to you.
Oh, wow.
And I tell you how, because I was looking for somebody who I want to ask for my show. Yeah. And I saw this video of yours. Yeah. Few videos about Kate. And I spoke next day to Galactic Federation how would it be if no, it was different. I said I saw those videos and it really no was the same what I feel.
Yeah.
Is it true? Yeah, and they said yes, and they said speak with Rebecca because she will help you out. Help you will make some kind of friendship. You will be able to help each other. Something down those lines. Yeah,
Wow.
that we somehow can help.
Mm-hmm.
What it means, God knows. Only God knows.
Yeah, it's one step at a time, right?
Yeah, it's one step at a time, and they just yes, invite her to your show, and go from there.
Amazing. Thank you for sharing.
Yes, it's just amazing how everything like falls in right place at the right time.
When you're connected. Yeah.
Yes, it's just some hand is gently moving you right direction.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's amazing. Uh, Now we all know and lots are going on about ascension. Yeah, and we moving and we getting ready for ascension. What's your thoughts on ascension? And maybe you spoke with source, but I haven't seen this out anywhere in your uh, broadcast.
Someone actually, this is interesting that you're asking me this because it came up in a reading recently for a client. And she was asking if ascension is true and what she needed to learn about ascension. I'm sensitive to the words, two words, like the vibration of words. And ascension feels like escapism to me. It feels like it's just like manifesting also feels like ego, like human ego, ascension. It just feels like a goal or like or something we're chasing after ascension. That's the energy that it feels like. It's like something that, we can measure ourselves against, like this person has gone through ascension, this person hasn't. It's like comparison, escapism, like energy. But I feel like, that said, we're all just evolving in different levels of consciousness, right? And I just feel like more and more we are coming back to unity consciousness, where we recognize that we're all one. Like I used to do mediumship readings differently than I do now. Like before, I would just, well, I would set it up with all of my higher self, protect the space, and call in that spirit. And it was very emotional. I would cry like during every mediumship reading because it's so beautiful. Connecting with a spirit that's crossed over, there's just unconditional love. Like that's what it feels like. And to be the tether, between those two phones, the client and the spirit, it's just such a blessing. Like I get to be in this space. Like this feels incredible. It would be full body chills. And now when I connect with someone who's crossed over, and some people ask me for that in intuitive readings, it's their pet or a person, whatever, I just go up to source and I ask, what does this person want to share with us? So I always start with source. Because back to that unity consciousness, like we're all one, and recognizing that. I shared a video on YouTube and TikTok about, someone had asked about Antarctica, and there was amazing insights, revelations that came to me there. And I was shown that like all of the landmass, like was one at one point, and there was just a very loving vibration, and it was like everyone supported each other, and it was very kind and like unity, right? Like everyone. But then like as I can't even remember the details because I channel it, right, and then I share it, and then like it's gone, poof. But there was like disagreements, and the conflict between the people, and I think it's because another race came down. The land split up. So the land splitting up was a reflection of the differences and the conflict, and the separation that we experienced from each other. So I feel like this ascension is really an elevation in consciousness and awareness that we are all fractals of source. We're all one. So that's my take on it.
Yes, I understand this take, and it's actually very lovely comparing to those takes what so many true speakers are saying. Yeah, I just thinking about if we're looking from astrological point of view. I understand. I'm not any good in astrology, but I understand from listening quite few astrologers that at the moment planets are in a way how they've been like 3,000 something years ago. Yeah, when was huge changes in
Uh,
Earth itself, in the planet itself.
mm,
We're talking about Lemuria, we're talking about Atlantis, we're talking about these times, yeah?
yeah. And
And
I'm hearing hidden societies. So that's something I haven't channeled on yet, but that's something I want to look at. It's like these earlier histories that are purposefully, intentionally hidden from us.
actually, I would say with your, I don't know what source is telling you, but because it's at the moment is telling you to look into it, yeah? I would say somebody, and you would be the one of the people who can do this, yeah? Talk with source and give people a real understanding of how this all came about,
Right. Yeah.
why we are in this darkness at the moment,
Yeah.
yeah, and how, because everybody, I don't know who anymore believes to be coming from monkeys, yeah, it's it's I don't know who believes in that. Maybe kids at school still believe. I don't, yeah. I There is some another other lady who been with me, and she is channeling um, mother. It's she calls it mom. Yeah, she channels like source, like earth source energy. Yeah, and she calls it mom, and I totally believe in many things what she says. Yeah, but I sort of really want another confirmation from somebody else. Yeah, to be yes, okay, because in this what she gives is some flows which one make like red flags for me, yeah, and that would be interesting because there is no real nobody, I never saw anyone who actually says about real history of earth.
Right. That's what I would like to look at. Yeah. There's so many things I want to look at. It's just my own bandwidth that's limited, you know, with between because a lot of people who do readings and share on YouTube or TikTok, they don't also do personal readings, you know. So I do healings and readings, and then I have a private mentorship program with women for 6 months and longer. I have that, and then I want to start a membership platform soon too, a community, because I've been so censored. I feel like that is where I'm led because I'm going to do things my own way and I'm not going to be restricted by sharing this and being censored. So I'll be leaving TikTok and only being on aligned platforms. And maybe that looks like YouTube and maybe Rumble. You know, I might start there. Um, but I feel like it's also it's feeling this need for a lot of people to be in a community where they can feel understood, they can feel safe in sharing this information with each other and not feel ostracized and isolated and judged by people who aren't yet ready for this information. So yeah, that's where I'm
Exactly.
headed.
Can you tell me about your 6 months training? What is this training about? What you teaching women in this training?
It is a one-on-one private mentorship. So it's not it's not a training per se, but like each woman will come to me with their own where they are in their life, you know, and what they're moving through. They see me as someone who's walked through many fires, you know, and they want to walk through the fire too and come out of it unscathed, you know, maybe a few scratches here and there, you know, dust off a little ash here and there. But they want to become more empowered and step into that next version of themselves. So it includes things like intuitive readings and one-on-one quantum healing sessions with me. So whatever issue they want to work on, there's no limit because I'm operating from source. So it might be, you know, they've got jaw pain or they've got this medical problem or whatever. Like those things will happen as resistance to stepping into their power. or maybe they're moving through leaving a toxic relationship and they're finding their footing, and trying to find their strength and their power. And so I help them basically clear out anything that's keeping them from stepping into their higher version of themselves, where their soul is leading them. So it's a one-on-one program for 6 months longer. Most women work with me for longer, but it's a close container with just one woman at a time. And whatever their journey is, I meet them where they're at. And it's custom. It's very custom to whatever they're going through and what goal, they have in mind.
How much actually cost session with you?
Sorry?
How much cost session with you?
Yeah, so right now I have 2 more spots for pay in full for 6 months. It's $5,555. And when women book the quantum success assessment with me as a first step, then that gets taken off that as well. So it ends up being like 5,222, I think, for 6 months. So I have 2 more spots at that investment before it jumps up to the next level. So it's intuitive readings, healing sessions. There's a quantum blueprint in there, which is numerology, astrology, human design, this really deep session to let them know like where they are, who they are without all the conditioning. And then there's message support throughout the whole thing. So I'm there as their net, in between sessions.
But not possible to do like one session at a time with you. You go into one-to-one session, let's say, yeah, and then maybe once a month or something like that, and keep going once a month for as long as you feel needed.
So that's an off menu option, invitation only. That's my previous model where I did one session here and there. I just feel called more to serve women at this level because, as you know, and as many of your listeners know, that healing often comes in layers. So I can do so much in one session, but I'm better served to help women through this whole transformation because, all this stuff unravels. But I do offer one-off healing sessions if people reach out to me and it feels in alignment. I do offer those, and those are 90 minutes, and those are 333. And people experience amazing shifts during that because I do so much in one session. But a lot of times people need more support than that. So I meet people where they're at.
Great. It sounds really great work. Is there anything else you would maybe want to share, or we maybe didn't spoke about something what really is you want to speak today?
I think this has been such an amazing conversation, and I'm excited for people to listen to it. And I'm so grateful that you've invited me on. I didn't know what we were going to be talking about today, so this has been a really, really awesome conversation. The one thing I'm tuning into the listeners as they listen, and their feeling is like, oh, I can never ... And I just want to gently nudge people to know that I was blocked to my intuition. I was overwhelmed. I couldn't make decisions. I was indecisive. I was choosing the wrong partners, choosing the wrong friends. And now, yes, I have all these abilities, but if you feel called to, I want to be able to do this, I want to be able to connect with source, then follow those breadcrumbs because it's accessible to you too.
Great. I absolutely sure the people will be following and will be more listening to us and get more inspiration to speak to Rebecca and try get her help in their change. And thank you very much, Rebecca, for joining me today. Thank you, everybody who is listening and who will be listening. Please keep safe, keep changing, look for people like Rebecca, myself, who will help you on your way of change. And from our hearts to yours, God bless.